Welcome, everybody, back to the Sports Experience podcast. And we have a very special, due to some technical difficulties, a post-apocalyptic version of the first round of the 2024 NFL Draft.
It's a fallout shelter. We had a breaker break. I don't know what else to say about a breaker. Blew.
Breaker.
And then, so we had to change our location. This is technically where our producer hangs out and hates us when we record. So this is, we're in the fallout shelter for 2024 draft. And man, we are ready because it's going to be an exciting one. Let's crack a couple.
Let's crack a couple of some Topo Chico hard seltzer.
Topo Chico. They're actually really good. I haven't had any, and I wasn't planning on drinking. And then Dom got these, and I was like, I can't deny it.
Very parched.
For a second, I thought I was going to turn back over and Dom just tank the whole thing. He was just like, that's it. That's one.
Not gone yet.
All right, 2024 draft.
Wait till pick 20, Chris. Then it's just going to be, oh, here we go.
So true.
But 2024. This is a very interesting draft as far as quarterbacks are concerned.
That's very true. And it's I would have to say it's been hyped as very trade heavy. You think there's going to be a lot of trades?
Part of me thinks there is. I mean, I think the first three teams all need quarterbacks. So this could be like 1971. This could be like 2021, 1999. And also, I believe last year we had three quarterbacks go the first three picks.
Yeah.
So, but then we started getting into Arizona. Then we start getting into the Chargers.
Chargers with our new head coach. Now that he blew up that college program, they go and do professional for a couple of years.
Everywhere he goes, he wins and just leaves a trail of skid-marked khakis.
Trail of tears.
Trail of tears. Oh, boy. Trail of tears for Ohio State. But
oh, man. So Chicago's on the board right now. It's pretty obvious that they're going to pick... what's his name? I'm spacing on his name right now.
Caleb Williams.
I'll tell you what, he's the least person I've looked up because he's just been the number one for so long. So I've just been like, oh yeah, Caleb Williams is definitely going number one. But then it gets interesting. The Commanders could trade or pick up whoever. Like there's a lot of...
From what I've been reading, the old foreskins, they're not really inclined to trade that pick. I think they know who they want.
Yeah.
And I believe New England does as well, who's picking third.
I know a lot of people said New England would trade down. I don't see New England trading down.
They need
no matter if either quarterback is there. May or is that Eminem picking?
It is Eminem starting off the ceremonies.
Okay, good job, Em.
Look at Marshall Mathers supporting the Lions, who are good again, probably for the first time since Barry Sanders, right?
Oh, you're not wrong. They broke their Hyman streak of.
They went 30 years without winning without winning the NFC Central.
Oh, they're introducing dudes right now. I like it. I like the fanfare.
The fanfare is good. Everybody's excited.
Now, because everyone's talking quarterbacks, so let me talk to you real quick about wide receivers.
This is a big wide receiver draft, too. Very stacked class.
I feel like there's no doubt Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to go fourth to the Cardinals. A lot of people that I've been listening to, they're saying they're just like, a lot of teams have Neighbors as the better wide receiver overall, or whatever you want to call it.
This reminds me a little bit of 2015 when Amari Cooper was like hands down the best wide receiver. But then there was this dude, Kevin White. He played a couple years in JUCO. Then he went to West Virginia in that pass happy thing offense and put up some numbers. He tested crazy at the combine, and people were ranking him ahead of Amari Cooper, which is ridiculous because Kevin White is one of the biggest receiver draft busts ever.
I was just going to say.
And Amari Cooper's still playing and playing well. And that was 9 years ago.
And, well, here's my other thing is because Marvin Harrison Jr. didn't go to the combine, work out really with any team. And somebody said this. They were just like, yeah, the Cardinals were like, we're picking you. You don't have to work out. There's no way a team ahead of us is picking a wide receiver, and we're going to bring you. So
he's like his dad. He's a bigger, more physical version of his dad.
I was just
consummate pro.
Well, I'll tell you what, because a lot of the time you do get those busts where
Barry
you're like,
Sanders.
Oh, nice. We just talked about him. Oh, this is a real Lions. Is this in Detroit? I just realized that.
Did you know that Murphy RoboCop will be announcing one of the picks tonight? We have to name all of our sons Murphy because that was RoboCop's name. God damn it, Charlie.
I'm not going to burn the duster.
You can't burn the duster. That's what makes it so badass.
Hasn't been 5 minutes and we got an It's Always Sunny quote in. I'm just saying it's going to be a good draft.
It's going to be a great draft. But no, back on Marvin Harrison.
Oh, yeah.
Why would you work out?
Why would you work out?
There is no point.
Exactly.
Tape speaks for itself.
Exactly.
I know I had seen in multiple spots where scouts were saying, no, if you pick this guy, no matter what team, he will be your number one wide receiver and have that. And the Cardinals have no wide receivers.
Yes. Well, somebody was saying this. These guys are so good neighbors, and Rome too is another.
Odunze is good. Brian Thomas is good from LSU. Neighbors is his teammate.
Yep. And they were saying this could be like a 3 or 4 all-pro wide receiver class. And then I saw this other thing that I thought was really great was the next class that they're already grading, obviously the 2025 draft, is supposed to be worse at almost every level. Like there's not really supposed to be that generational quarterback. There's not a stacked lineup of wide receivers. And then you look at the teams that have a ton of picks and you're like, this could be the draft that we look at. They're like, oh, that's why they won that Super Bowl.
Oh, exactly. Just burn it, and then they're going to burn them all.
Yeah.
Or they'll trade next year's draft capital knowing it doesn't mean very much.
It's worth less.
Yeah, kind of like Minnesota this year trying to get a quarterback.
That's who I really think could move up.
You know who I think is going to move up? Buffalo.
I thought you were going to say the Steelers.
No,
I was like, you are so...
No, no, Buffalo.
I know you... Yes,
they
you're
lost
not...
Stephon Diggs. And remember 2011... Atlanta traded up like 20 spots to get Julio Jones.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it will happen. I'm just saying Buffalo. And the thing, though, is wide receivers kind of becoming devalued in the draft, picking these guys high. Maybe you see in Arizona or maybe in Chargers because they lost both their receivers, Keenan Allen and Mike Williams. Maybe trade back a bit, pick up some extra draft capital, get a receiver they like later down the road.
Because it is a deep receiver class. It's a deep quarterback class for the first 5, 6. I don't think Bo is technically that good, but could be okay.
The Broncos are going to pick him at 12, and the ghost of my father will laugh.
It's so bad.
You're owned by Walmart now.
Oh, my God.
Dicks.
Please don't.
I want that to happen so bad.
But it's an interesting class, and the two teams that I would say huge possibility of moving up is Bills-Vikings. I just can't see the team. The value isn't there for me to move down. Somebody said the Colts are going to try to move up, and then this guy shot him down so quick. He just goes, the GM has never moved up in the first round, and he's only moved up 4 times previous, and then just came out and said, I don't like trading up. I trade down. And I was like, yeah, the Colts
not with that attitude.
The Colts are not going to trade up. I could tell. Yeah, not with that attitude.
Philly
sir.
might. Philly's all over the board.
I love
every
that.
year.
I love that.
I think Philly would be a candidate to do it because they're in almost win now mode. Like after last year's end of season disaster.
Yeah, I like that.
Let's see who else. I actually made a chart. I actually made my fucking chart here. I think San Francisco. You know who's going to do it? Kansas City. Because they need wide receivers worse than grim death.
And they could get a good wide receiver, not super early. Do you know what I mean? They could get one at like 20.
And that's what I mean. They don't need to go all the way up. But another guy who could fall just based on positional need, and Mr. Taylor Swift is getting older, is the Brock Bowers guy from Georgia, the tight end. I think if he slips past a certain point, you might see the Chiefs or some other teams in play like really trying to get after him.
I've seen him go as high, I think, as like 11 in one of those weird trade things.
Yeah.
And then I've seen him literally drop to like 25. And he's one of those guys that you're like, oh, yeah, if the team that's picking doesn't need that position, they will pass on him. And then it could start tumbling down to like a Kansas City or somebody that really needs like a good tight end. But God, this is why I love this. This part right here is my favorite.
Right? Totally.
It's fucking 10 minutes before we start, 10 minutes before they first pick, and we're just saying, what if?
What if? Just all the what ifs. As far as...
I want to see the Pats trade down, but there is no scenario that's actually good unless somebody does like a RG3 where they trade way too much for like a third round pick. Or I mean a third, first round pick.
See, if you're New England, though, you're in a rhubarb of a pickle of a jam because Bill Belichick was very shitty at drafting offensive skill players. Great at trading for them and acquiring them, but we've learned over the last few years whose bread was buttered and how in New England.
You're not wrong.
But I think at 3 you have to. You have to take a quarterback, but the thing is they have so many freaking needs. But they have Jacoby Brissett, who can hold it down
for a year.
So you could take a developmental guy like a Drake May or a J.J. McCarthy, both redshirt sophomores, to where, okay, we can sit, because if you trade back, you might not get one.
So I was just going to say, here's my question. Is Drake May, because that's kind of like the guy that's supposed to be going third, is he that much more than J.J. McCarthy, where if you don't trade back to 6, say with the Giants or whoever, I forget who has 7, but if you don't trade back to that, is Drake May that big of a pickup? Do you know what I mean? Because I feel like J.J. is going to be there at maybe 6, 7, 8.
McCarthy's the mystery box. I get Zach Wilson vibes from him, only because I'm not saying Harbaugh hit him in that ground and pound offense, but he did not show a lot of what these other guys have shown. With Drake May, you sit him for a year. Sit him for a year. You do not trot him out week 1 if you're an NFL team.
Any team.
Let him develop.
Because he's also the youngest QB. Yeah.
So send him out there, just let him develop, lock it down.
Yeah.
To me, it's New England would be a perfect spot. Even Minnesota would be a perfect spot for him, because you have Sam Darnold there. And you have Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, TJ Hawkinson, and Christian Darrisaw locking down the offensive line.
Those might be the 2 best destinations for Drake May.
Oh, yeah, 100%. You can't send him to obviously Chicago's going to.
Yeah, I know.
But, if you go to Washington, I don't know.
Well, the thing, because it's so funny, the stupid reports that come out. Mm-hmm. One of the reports that came out from whoever in Washington just said, I know we're picking second, but there's no way that Drake May is going to be picked second by any NFL team. And you're like, oh, damn, that was some straight up shade on him.
That is some bulletin board material if I've ever heard it.
Well, and that's why you see everybody else's draft capital go up, because for a while, say a month ago, Drake May was in that number 2 spot.
Easy. He was locked in. When the draft ended last year, it was Caleb Williams, Drake May 1 and 2. Mm-hmm. That was the prevailing thought, not knowing Jaden Daniels would come out of nowhere to win the Heisman.
To have the best year.
Probably 2 wide receivers going in round 1 in Thomas and Neighbors.
Yep.
So that would be extremely interesting to see what would happen if Washington does pass on Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, that's what I'm so excited for, because if you look at the odds, Jaden Daniels going second is at minus 1,400. It's such a Vegas has it so locked in that he's going second that if the Commanders really are throwing a wrench, or at least playing their cards close to the vest, then that would be one of the best. Oh, here we go. Here we go. The Bears are who are they going to pick?
Who are the Bears going to pick? It's not like it's not been reported forever.
I'll tell you what, them at 9 is going to be so interesting, because what if Neighbors is there? What if
Dunze is going to probably be there at 9? And you know who else is going to be there? Probably Bowers. Because if you're running 12 personnel with Kmet and Bowers, oh, here it comes, Caleb Williams.
What?
Obviously. Caleb L. Williams? Who is this gentleman?
But it's such an interesting thing, because he really is the guy that I've looked at the absolute least, because 3 months ago they were just the Bears tried out one person.
They were piping him in hot, since he won the Heisman in 2022, but he had some games this year that you could see some flaws in, as far as his swashbuckling, I don't give a shit play, as far as ball security.
I agree with that.
The Notre Dame game was particularly crappy, because that was probably the best defense they faced the entire season.
And if you think about ball security being important in college, it's 10 times that in the NFL. So
and he's basically going to a quarterback graveyard of a franchise. If we exclude Smokin' Jay Cutler and that punky QB Jim McMahon, they really haven't had anybody under center since Sid Luckman before Pearl Harbor.
Well, this is why this pick gets this franchise excited. I don't know anybody that's gonna. Chicago fans might, but throw them under the bus this first year if they're okay. You know what I mean? It's definitely one of those things where you look at 3 years down the line. That's when the Bears are supposed to be good.
They're going to the bar looking for at least just a 3. That's what they're going
for.
Bears. Duh, Bears. They're looking for a chick that looks like George Wendt. That's all. That's all that they want. That's all they want.
That's beautiful. I'll tell you what, she'll keep you warm at night.
She will keep you warm. She's like a weighted blanket.
That's right.
Oh, no. But Caleb Williams, obviously the first pick for Chicago. Yep. They needed it. I can't believe that they pretty much just gave Justin Fields away.
Yeah.
I mean, they literally...
You're not wrong. They were literally like, we don't care what the future is with you. And you're just like, all right, I guess they're done.
It was a little weird, though, that they did that, only because I remember when the Eagles took Carson Wentz, they had Sam Bradford on the roster, and they kept him on there. And then Teddy Bridgewater's knee, like a couple of months later, exploded. Then they dealt Bradford for a first-round pick to Minnesota.
Sure, because they needed him.
So I don't know about that. They gave him away for a 6th-round pick.
Yeah.
But still, Caleb Williams is the guy in Chicago, and this is pretty much penciled in since the offseason began.
Really is. Now we get interesting. Now we get to questions,
Questions. Do you like there's been some J.J. McCarthy smoke.
There's no way J.J. McCarthy's going second.
Washington,
that would be so good.
Sweet Jesus.
I'll tell you what, if he goes second, the cascade of trades that would follow that.
Oh my God.
The Vikings, the Bills, even the Raiders, I bet would throw everything they could.
Who's been sniffing around for a quarterback in the top 10 potentially, even though they have like 4 on their roster? The Giants.
Oh yeah,
even though they're paying like Daniel Jones $40 million, which
I heard somebody say that because they're picking 8th, or no, they're picking 6th, and somebody said if they pick a fucking another quarterback, they are so stupid of a franchise.
Which I mean, since Sheila kind of lost the shine, they've been kind of crappy.
Yeah,
I mean they've been
not good.
No, I mean it's weird to think how bad the Jets, like our Charlie Ward episode when they're like, he's the best quarterback in New York City.
Yes, exactly.
Oh no.
Yeah, the Giants are an interesting one. If they pick a quarterback, unless you see one of these guys drop, you see a Drake May drop, you know what I mean? Like it's tough.
I would have to think. Like I'm pretty sure this is going to be Jaden Daniels for Washington.
Yes, I would put money on it.
In my opinion, I think he might end up being a better pro than Caleb Williams. And then there's another quarterback we haven't even talked about who I think is the best one. He has some red flags as far as medicals, but I think Michael Penix Jr.
Do you really?
He throws the prettiest freaking deep ball, and it's an accurate deep ball. His just medicals are like
bad.
70-year-old man. Apparently they're okay from what I've been reading, but I think when he was at Indiana, he had 4 seasons in a row, all with season-ending injuries.
Oh, yeah.
So, but the last 2 years he's been healthy at Washington, and in my opinion, this last year, he was the best quarterback in the Pac-12. In the last year, I mean, he took him to the national championship game. He's got a Dunze, and then Jalen Polk will probably get picked round 2 or 3 as well. So just keep an eye on him, because I think if he stays healthy, wherever he goes, the Raiders potentially.
I was just
going to say
that's the destination that I've heard, because they're not big on Bo Nix.
No,
you know what I mean. So like the Raiders, yeah.
Nix is almost like McCarthy, where at Oregon he was throwing it horizontally as opposed to even though he's got enough of an arm for the NFL. It's just, have you done it?
Yeah,
like in a game. Like,
exactly. Have you done it game in, game out?
So,
all right,
come on, exciting.
Commanders. What do we got? I'm excited to see.
I hope they rename the team something else.
Oh yeah, go from Commanders to something else.
go from Foreskins to football team to Commanders to I don't know.
Back to Redskins.
Oh my God, please do it. Just to see. I'll do it for the meltdowns.
Oh my God, it would be insane.
And then just be like, that's really racist, guys. Like,
God, guys, come on.
Like the comedy, but no, please stop.
Yep.
Just stop. They're not trading the pick. I mean, you wouldn't trade it with.
No, you're not going to trade this pick.
But
that would have came in right when they hopped on.
Please take J.J. McCarthy. Oh,
that would be. I'm not even kidding. That might be my favorite pick if it happens.
No, take no. Take Bowers.
Take Brissett.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
Oh my God.
That's what I mean, though. Is this will? I feel like everybody's kind of waiting to see the Commanders make the pick that they think they're going to make, and then Patriots make the pick they're going to make, and then everyone's like, then the trades I feel like are going to start coming 7, 8, 9.
I really think the pivot point is the Chargers at 5. because it's a deep tackle class too. They need tackles and wide receivers. I don't think though they can't be cutesy, and I know they're not going to trade with Denver or Las Vegas for a quarterback, obviously in your own division.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if you trade back just a little bit, get some more capital for you, they might even stand pat because they'll have their pick of any offensive lineman, I think, at 5.
Yeah, and that's pretty. You're right. It's a good tackle class.
Like, I mean, it's just a deep offensive line class overall, which we'll get into as the first round progresses because there will be a run on tackles that starts. We just kind of don't know when it'll be.
I heard somebody say they're just like, I don't know, like 18 to 24 might all be tackles, and you're like, yeah, I mean, if it drops like that.
Logically, when I wrote out this little spreadsheet, let's see, how do we go? Oh, they're picking.
They're picking. Now. Commanders coming in.
Oh, those dirty commies. Commie Anders.
They're the Reds.
Oh, God. Not the red legs like the Cincinnati.
Selection is Jaden Daniels. Yeah, all right.
Makes sense.
Yeah, can't deny it.
18 to 24, top 3 needs of the 7 teams, 6.
That's
and only because at 23 the Vikings have one of the picks.
But they might trade.
They are going to. They are going to get rid of that. I mean, you don't just make that trade with Houston to basically, you know.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, that pick, I believe, belonged to Cleveland.
Oh, originally.
It was the last of the first round picks that they dealt for Deshaun Watson.
Yeah. Old massage master.
The old massage master. So Jaden Daniels, and so we got Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, 1, 2.
That's sure. Now we got the question: is it going to be JJ? Is it going to be Drake? Is it going to be?
Now we're getting weird with it.
That's where I would say this is going. I couldn't see anybody else, and like I was saying, I can't see them trading it away because it's just not. Yeah, I'll do another. It's just not worth it. Nobody has it going up for them.
No, I mean. If this was Belichick, because he always was the dude that would trade back, that might happen. But
yeah,
you need a franchise quarterback so bad, and you have the luxury of taking a raw guy. You don't need him to play right away because your team next year, you're probably one of the 3 worst teams in the AFC as far as talent level, particularly on offense, because you need receivers too. You need help on the offensive line, and then your defense. I mean, while they're much better than the offense was last year, you need a whole complete and total revamp of your team.
Yep.
Like the post-Brady era has not been kind to New England.
Yep.
So
you're not wrong.
But God, watching Jaden Daniels run the ball, it's like watching a receiver.
It's
oh my God. Arizona State, you let this guy go?
It's crazy. Because really, he might be the most talented of all the quarterbacks. Just not his. Obviously not his arm strength, but just everything else.
He has everything you want. His arm is strong. Not like Caleb Williams.
That was my.
But he can make all the throws that you need him to. My only question with him is he's kind of skinny. I don't think he weighs. I mean, he needs to put on an extra 20 or so pounds. Like I got
muscle.
I got way bigger guns than this dude.
You're not wrong.
Like I mean, he's wiry like the replacements.
Yep.
And, God forbid if he's in the open, he better learn to slide. That's all I'm going to say. Not that he's not a tough dude. It's just like...
I don't care how tough you are.
People are going to be looking to light you up.
Yeah. That's good, though, man. That's pick makes sense.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and they traded Sam Howell to the Seahawks this offseason, who had played for him last year.
Yep.
So, it makes total and complete sense. And they're turning over a new era. Fucking worst. The worst owner not named Donald Sterling recently sold them. Yep. So I mean, like he's Donald Sterling without the racism, but so much other terrible things.
Oh, that was great.
It's true though. I mean,
so true.
Dan Snyder. If you don't know who he is, just do a quick Google search and you'll find out. All
right, New England on the clock.
Pats at 3. We're
Got to take Drake May, especially just it sounds like that's the way it should lay out.
Just a quarterback. You could take Michael Pratt or Spencer Rattler. That's as good as what you have, better than what you have on your roster.
Yeah.
But
it's very true.
If you were telling the New England fans like you'd have a chance to draft Drake May, you do it. Like, obviously.
Yeah.
What's I mean,
there's no down. I feel like there's no downside, especially him off the board at 3.
you just have to hope Brissett just takes his long, like just basically holds the fort down. Because a lot of people don't remember his entire rookie season outside of the last game because it didn't matter. They were already seeded for the playoffs. Patrick Mahomes sat.
Oh, yeah.
People forget that. People forget that Alex Smith played that entire season until
the
week 17.
Yeah.
And they were just like, well, we don't want to get anybody hurt. And, yeah, just go out there. And he won the game.
Yeah.
A lot of guys have Carson Palmer, I remember, sat an entire season. Aaron Rodgers sat for like 3. Jordan Love sat for fucking 3. So there's something to be said about that.
There definitely is something to be said about that. It's
not turning them loose like Kurt Russell in Imagination Land.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a lot of defenses out there like the Woodland Christmas Critters.
Yeah, that'll kill you.
Yeah, to do so much worse.
Oh, my God. They're Christ killers.
What the fuck?
The Woodland Critter. All right.
Oh, no. God damn. So, New England at 3. I mean, like, you they said as many as 6 could go in round 1.
Yeah, as many as 6 QBs and as many as, I would say 4 in the first 10. I don't think the 5th is going to go in the first 10.
To me, I think the last 2 will go from between 13 to the end of the first round.
Yes.
Like, there's going to be a little bit of a gap because I think not Oakland anymore, Las Vegas with here we go.
Oh, yeah, here we go. New England's on.
They're going to do it.
New England is on.
New head coach.
New head coach.
Here they go. Oh, there it is.
They got Drake May. That makes sense.
Yeah, good move by them. And you can afford to take him. I don't think if they traded back,
it just didn't make sense.
They wouldn't have been able to get the quarterback that they so desperately need. And it's not even a need pick. Like, this dude, he's very similar to Josh Allen.
Yeah.
I think
might be a better Josh Allen, but
he's got to develop.
Yes.
And he does have similar problems to Josh Allen, where in college you have a little bit of the accuracy issues, but
he's still super young. He's 21.
Yeah.
He's, ready to fuck.
Oh, of course he is.
So, yeah, I think that's and you're right. He doesn't have to start the first year. There's so many things where this just makes sense.
Like, literally, if you're New England, this entire draft should be, all right, we've secured Drake May. Maybe we're picking at or near the top of every single round. Maybe trade back a little bit, acquire assets. We just need pieces. We just need bodies. We need to compete.
And they don't have a lot of picks, do they?
That I don't know.
I think they don't have a lot past second round.
Well, then they need to start trading back.
Well, that's why people were saying they should probably trade back because they have so many holes.
I mean,
it's not like other teams where it's like, well, they need an off tack. It's like they have like almost nothing.
Yeah, but you have the luxury of sitting the franchise quarterback, and you need a franchise quarterback. So if one falls into your lap, you have to do it.
Yeah, for sure. I agree, and they're not going to be good next year. So then next year they can probably get another good pick. There's so many things with that. And just I feel like Drake. He fits.
And just a year of development, refining his footwork, refining, things like pocket presence and accuracy. Like, not to say you'll make leaps and bounds, but just like, we're building this team so when you come in, it's not a complete and total dumpster fire like it is right now.
Exactly.
So good move, New England.
Yeah,
there you go.
All right,
everyone's excited now. We're gonna get weird with it.
Well, Cardinals another one that I don't think is going to get crazy. If you pass on Marvin Harrison Jr., I think it's such a crazy because he's such a generational.
To me, the only team I could see them trading with the way this broke now is New York. If New York is that into J.J. McCarthy, because you would be assured of at least Harrison or Neighbors. So, like, if it's a coin flip, you might do that and might extract future draft capital. But, like, no, you just take Marvin Harrison.
Yeah.
You lost Hollywood Brown. You have no receivers. You, unlike most of these teams, actually have a franchise quarterback. If you pair him with Kyler, not only does it help your team, it helps your quarterback more than anything, right?
Yep.
I mean, I don't know. Don't be stupid, Cardinals.
I know. Don't.
Hi, I'm with the Arizona Cardinals. Keep walking.
Keep walking.
That was a good decision, Homa.
That's great. Well, it's it's interesting because after this, because I would say Marvin's going to go. We start getting into possible trades and possible crazy shit happening.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to think as far as like, what if the Chargers stand pat at 5 though?
They should, but
I mean, like, what if they stay as far as we need the top offensive tackle, or we know Malik Neighbors / Marvin Harrison is there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and much like Arizona, they have a franchise quarterback in Justin Herbert.
Yep.
So, I mean,
all those picks make sense for them.
And like the Cardinals too. Cardinals drafted Paris Johnson first round. They're going to kick him to left tackle. Mm-hmm. Much like and the Chargers, they have Rashawn Slater, a Pro Bowler already at left tackle. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
But, I mean, what if it's the most boring first round and there are no
trades?
I was texting Elias that earlier today. I'm like, there could be the potential for it to be so exciting or just like,
straight up by the book. Everybody just picking
one of our top 3 needs, or someone fell that we didn't think would be there, like total BPA. Let's do it. Like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I feel like this one's pretty in the. If they go with Neighbors, that would be insane.
If they went with Neighbor, I mean, don't get me wrong. I think that guy can play.
Yeah.
But, man, you can't turn down Marvin Harrison when you have such a glaring hole at wide receiver.
I know.
Like, if you don't take Marvin Harrison Jr., they'll sick his dad on you. Allegedly. Go listen to episode 198.
That's great, though. His son's now in it, and
he's going to be drafted higher than him now,
and could be potentially at his level. I wouldn't say he's going to be at Marvin Harrison's level, but
Kyler Murray's good, but he's certainly no Peyton Manning.
Yeah, there's certain things that come into play that's not just his skill set.
Dallas Clark or Reggie Wayne or Edgerrin James, and a good offensive line.
All of that Arizona will never have.
I mean, they could. Maybe today's the day. Today's the day Tony Brune's dreams come true.
All right, let's see it.
Let's see.
Selection is in.
Take Marvin. Yeah, it's Marvin Harrison.
Those were,
It makes sense. It makes sense.
Yeah.
But now it's time to get weird with it. We're going to be going to Kohl's and picking up pairs of friggin' khakis. We got the Chargers on the clock at 5.
Yeah, and I would say O-line, but
it's so high to take a receiver. And even taking it's like 4, man. That's really high. They could take the tackle of their choice, obviously. I mean, no offensive tackles have been taken. It's such a deep receiver class, though. You could wait, right?
You could. This is my thing. You could literally wait on a receiver or a tackle. Mm-hmm. So that's the thing that this might be one of those Viking situations where they just can't decide what to pick on, so they just pass the pick.
I like the one where they had just fired Denny Green and it happened, and he's like, "Oh, I've never seen this before."
So good.
My guess is, I mean, if the Chargers don't trade back, things are going to get wild, because if the Giants don't want McCarthy,
that's what I mean.
The Minnesota, if that's who they want, could just get him at 11. And that whole trade with Houston would have meant absolutely nothing.
If McCarthy drops to 11,
I think he might.
It would be so good for Minnesota. I can't even
unless, because Denver doesn't have a second round pick, so I don't think they're going to be moving up. They might move back and take Knicks and maybe Vegas, but I think they're more in on Penix, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I don't think the value's there for them to move up to grab J.J. McCarthy.
If McCarthy goes at 11, that will make this so much more boring. There will be
there's going to be nothing happening.
It'll just be, they're on the clock. What are their top 3 needs? Let's see.
It is. Hi, we're in Delaware.
Imagine being magically whisked away to State Farm Stadium.
Yeah, you're right. Chargers, this is a big one. Because it's hard to pass on Neighbors. I'll say that.
It's hard to pass on Neighbors, but with Harbaugh, everywhere he's gone, from San Diego to Stanford to the 49ers to Michigan, big offensive line, ground and pound. And I mean, some of the Stanford guys, that offensive linemen that went to school when he was there, turned out to be really good professional football players. They're down their top 2 receivers. Mike Williams and Keenan Allen are gone.
Yeah, they're in need for both receivers and tackles. That's the big thing about this is,
but if
you'll see what Harbaugh actually values on this point. Do you know what I mean?
And if you think about it, though, Rashawn Slater's a Pro Bowler at left tackle. If you take the tackle of your choice and kick him to the right side, hoo boy. I mean,
I think a lot of these guys are going to get taken. I saw this where it was like, the top 3 guys I think are all left tackles are almost for sure going to get kicked to the right. And you're just like, which was the guy from Notre Dame?
Joe Alt. Yeah.
He's one of those guys that you're just like, he's a Notre Dame tackle. Of course he's going to be good.
Dude, Notre Dame has been, I'd say over the last 15 years, it's just been a fucking factory.
A tackle factory.
Tackle factory. Not so much at a lot of other positions, but definitely at offensive line and tackle.
Oh, my tummy hurts. I mean, my fart factory.
Stomach, gut, crap factory.
Crap factory.
Make way for the grapefruit known as the Los Angeles Chargers.
So good.
What if they just shocked everyone and went with someone like Bowers?
That would be... This is what I mean. This is the stuff I love coming into this, because you're like, what if they go with that? Who the fuck is that?
Oh, Drake May.
Oh, I was like, who the...
You ever feel like Selfie Stick would have been a better name for a dildo?
Oh, my God, that's good.
Like, when you really think about what it does...
Take that to the stage.
Should I? That wasn't even a...
Your girlfriend's going to be so bumped.
Oh, my God.
Babe, you think that we should call your dildo Selfie Stick? Babe, I'm talking to you.
Hey.
Babe.
Oh, no.
Call her babe from the stage is fucking crazy.
Oh, my God. No.
That's a pretty good one. Tony and Elmer. I hung out with Elmer today. I was playing golf. I've been playing a bunch of golf. It's been awesome.
Fucking A.
And they were talking about this one bit, and... Because when you you almost share doing a bit where it's like you're bouncing back and forth.
Oh, totally.
And it was about Daredevil, and Tony just goes, "Can I have that?" And Elmer just goes, "Yeah, how am I going to do a joke about a blind guy?"
It's like,
what do you think is It's like doing a joke about a black guy, and Jenkins just be like, "Can I use that?" And you're like,
it's
yes.
like the roast joke I wrote for Drake, and he asked me to use. I'm like,
exactly.
No, I can't say that out loud anywhere outside the music box.
And it's a
yes,
joke,
you may.
It's a joke he still uses and he still loves. It's even a joke that goes into this other joke that me and him wrote at House of Bards. That's how long ago that was.
God damn it.
And God, that was one of my favorites. It's such a weird thing when you look back and you're like, you just
write
a joke. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It just all comes out in one fluid motion.
Oh, God.
They were selling, me and Drake thought this was the funniest goddamn thing ever. They were selling pumpkin rolls because it was right around October. And Drake just goes, "I'm going to buy it. And if somebody comes out of that kitchen and rolls a pumpkin at me, I'm going to freak out." And I was like, that might be the funniest thing I've ever heard you say. And we laughed about it for so long. I'm not going to tell that one joke because it's offensive.
Yeah, let's not.
For me and you to say it.
For us, we can't do it. At a music box roast, it's okay. It's
God, that roast.
Speaking of which, my girlfriend has sat through a music box roast. God, I love her.
Yep.
She actually did it.
And that roast was one of the best.
So brutal. So terrible. In the best way.
In the best way.
The Jared one was really good. All of them we've had there have been really good. But we have a blink break on our screen here.
Yeah, we're taking a
5.
We'll be right back. Not us, I'm saying. The selection.
The Chargers and then the Giants. So we got Chargers at the dish. We got the Giants on deck, and then the Tennessee Titans in the hole here.
Tennessee Titans, I've heard somebody say this. They were like, they could trade down because they don't desperately need something.
So I think number one, 100% you're right out the gate. They could stand to build their offensive line, right?
And there's so many
Will Levis.
There's so many good tackles. If that's where they're going,
yep.
They could just trade down. And somebody said this. They were like, yeah, but the 7th pick isn't as good as what you think it is because now everybody sees what's been picked. So now they're either scrambling for that or they're like, yeah, the 7th pick isn't worth it.
I mean, I think with Tennessee, you're hoping they don't go O-line. The Chargers don't go O-line
because then you get your pick.
Then you'll have the pick of the litter because the Giants I don't think will do that. I think the Giants will probably pick Neighbors. I think that's or a quarterback because they're ridiculous.
Yeah, that would be hilarious. But my pick for them would be Neighbors. That doesn't mean But now is when we start questioning. That's my thing. The top 4, I know we were like, what? For me, if I was betting on it, I would have bet those 4 guys to go exactly at that.
It just goes complete and total chalk. Like you would think. But I mean, now we get to see what Jimmy Harbs.
Old Jimmy Harbs.
Jimmy Harbs. Oh, that's going to be good. Yeah, and we might not have a defensive player taken here for a hot minute.
I'm glad you brought that up. I wanted to talk about this. It's going to be the lowest defensive player is going to get taken. I know it is for, I think it was like over a decade.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to see one go until 13 to 16.
It's a nice stocked corner group, but there's not a hell of a lot of pass rushers, and there's not a hell of a lot of interior defensive guys who will make like a huge impact, like a top 10.
I was going to say not top 10, top 20 guys.
Yeah.
You know how sometimes there's that one corner where you're like, you have to get.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're right.
But much like tackles, there's going to be a run on corners at some point in this first round where guys are just going to start going.
26, 27, 20. Yeah, it's funny where it kind of clumps like quarterbacks, top 3. You get a clump of receivers right here.
So they're picking. Shoot, Chargers.
Oh, yeah, we're already
trade.
All right, good job, Jimmy. Jimmy!
And they win offensive tackle.
And they went old. I mean,
to old Notre Dame.
It's old reliable. That's the only thing I could say about that.
The Michigan guy shaking down the echo.
That's great. Joel, you can't deny this pick.
No, I mean, it's smart. You literally have 2 bookends for Justin Herbert. And in my opinion, as far as positional value, offensive tackle outweighs wide receiver, particularly when you have a quarterback as good as Justin Herbert. Now, granted, he's got to stay healthy.
Yep.
But this is a good way to keep him from getting the absolute crap beat out of him.
Exactly.
So, smart move.
Smart move.
This is a total Jim Harbaugh pick, though, if you think about it. Like, I mean, come on.
Hard nose.
I believe
good tackle.
I believe he's a former tight end. A lot of the times that happens at these programs. These guys will come in at like 260 as tight ends, and they're just
bulk them up.
It's like maybe you can't catch, but God, those feet, God, that body.
Well, it is good practice to get those feet just ready, moving in all directions, and then you got it for that O-line. I love one of those things, something about the internet, because I hate the internet, but God, I love something where you're like, I wonder what a O-lineman eats at Michigan.
Oh, Lord.
And they show their like day of thing, and they're just like, I ate 6 pancakes, 4 sausages, 8 pieces of bacon, 2 and they just list it, and you're just like, oh, that's why you're 325 pounds of pure muscle. I get it now.
You know what the funny part is? They probably have similar diets to those people on My 600-Pound Life. It's just they go to the gym 3 times a day.
They actually work out to that. It's like like Michael Phelps.
I was going to say, yeah, it's like that where they cultivate mass, but then they immediately harvest.
Dude,
afterwards.
It's time to start harvesting.
I've been doing calf races.
That's literally one of my. If you've cultivated enough, it's time to start harvesting.
Oh my God! And the garbage bag full of chimichangas. I buy all my shirts at Tommy Bahama.
I'll tell you what we should do. Go get a couple of Tommy Bahama shirts. Like, he is so great in that fat. You know what was interesting about that? Not to just go off on a It's Always Sunny thing.
We always do, though, right?
Mac, at the end of, I think that was season 9 that he got fat, something like that. At the end of season 8, he went to all of them.
Yeah, you told me about this.
He said, hey, we should gain 50 pounds each. And Dennis, Glenn Howard, and Charlie were both like, we have movie roles. We're starring in movies. And he was the only one that did it. And then you see how fucking shredded he got. Yeah. And that was another one of my favorite quotes where he just goes, guys, it's easy to do this. You just have to have $1 billion company backing you. And then he lists all the things he had. He just goes, I had 2 trainers. I had a nutritionist. And you were just like, it's easy. Yeah.
That's why you see these professional athletes who are also vegans where it works, is because you have access to all of these things to make you healthy. Like, the normal person can't do it and not be like rather waifish.
When I go vegan and I just eat French fries for 3 months, people are like, you're turning yellow.
By the way,
because I'm turning Japanese, I said, all right, you need to stop. We're getting the drinks flowing.
Wow. By the way, though, best French fries in the world in Montreal.
Yeah?
Dude.
Oh, with a little poutine?
Not only poutine, which I had at the hockey game, by the way, with cut up hot dogs. Fucking great. What they do, I swear, I have a picture on my phone.
I know.
But they put white vinegar and salt on them. So my lady was telling me.
I do like that.
So I was thinking, like, why would you do this? She's like, just try it. And I'm like, that is a salt and vinegar potato chip.
Yeah.
And then she took me to buy ketchup potato chips. And I'm thinking,
I've heard of those.
It makes no sense, but it does at the same time.
Yep. I've heard of the ketchup potato chips. And I had a girlfriend back in the day who used to put vinegar on her French fries. And this is a good story. We're in Five Guys, maybe Five Guys, and she asked for vinegar and she starts using it, and there's this huge obnoxious lady who comes in and just goes, is somebody douching in here?
That is fantastic.
Like douche. And I was dating that girl and she just goes, I've never used vinegar again. And I was like, dude, you should use it all the time.
Just be like, hey, I'm douching my fries right now.
Douching.
Oh shit, the Giants held on to the pick. So
nice.
There is no trades. There is no excitement.
I told Dom, I don't know if he said this on the thing. I was like, dude, there could be like 5-6 trades. Oh, they picked Neighbors. You had to go Neighbors for the Giants. That's who I would have gone. He could be, just like Marvin Harrison Jr., he could be an all-pro, multiple-time all-pro wide receiver.
Well, you think about it, you've already got Daniel Jones making $40 million. Maybe he's not your answer. You just signed Drew Lock in free agency, and then you got Tommy DeVito.
Oh, yeah.
There possibly again. So
that's a fucking
to help
Guido.
He is my
Tommy
spirit
DeVito,
animal.
Guido.
The Guido living at home, wearing headbands, eating cutlets. That's just
his agent's just still trying to sell chicken parm.
The agent looks like he was in Goodfellas as an extra.
Everybody says he is if somebody drew his agent, that would be him.
I just love it. So anyway, makes sense for the Giants. Kind of surprised they didn't maybe try and trade back, but you get a shot at Neighbors. You need wide receiver help, badly. And very badly.
And for a lot of people, Neighbors was #1 wide receiver. I think I don't agree with that. I think Marvin Harrison was the #1 coming in. But he has that breakaway
top 10
speed.
Pick. He's leave it at that.
That's good enough. That's good enough. I agree, though. He and
look at that out of his brakes.
I was just going to say, after the catch, he might be the best. And then something that somebody said was just he also played with what would be an NFL quarterback. So, you're looking at essentially this farm system for what a wide receiver would be in the NFL.
Are some receivers in the league who are running backs after they catch the ball?
Yes.
You know what I mean? The way that they carry it, the way that their acceleration and everything, he's kind of got that to his game.
And some guys have that thought as soon as they catch it, I'm going to do this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And some guys catch it and just go down.
This guy's jock straps on the ground. If that pass wasn't underthrown, he would have scored.
He was gone.
Oh man, that's good on you, Giants. But now we get to Tennessee, which is interesting because
they don't need anything, but they could use everything. That's what I mean.
But it's interesting because Alt's taken, and you would figure, okay, we don't have our first crack at the maybe they have someone rated ahead of him. But do we maybe trade back a scotch because maybe a team likes J.J. McCarthy and they don't have necessarily far to go?
And he's still on the board. A Denver or a Minnesota.
Minnesota, yeah.
Or Bills. We haven't heard much from Bills.
Oh, my God.
That would...
Well, I mean, you got maybe the Bills good up for Odunze.
Oh, that
would be fucking dope. I remember when they traded up for Sammy Watkins in 2014. I'm just saying, I mean, I don't know, maybe Tennessee's offensive line easy.
I said there could have been some trades. This is the first team I actually feel like could trade down.
Which is great because you would have thought like 2 or 3 teams ahead of them would, right?
But I knew that, like we were saying, like the Pats just didn't make sense to trade down. Arizona didn't make sense to trade down. I mean, Chargers, it's all been very standard at this point. I kind of like it, even though I thought it was going to be a little crazier.
So Tennessee, as far as offensive linemen, it's probably too high to take a guy on the interior.
Yeah.
I'm probably thinking it would be Olufashanu out of Penn State, or it might be J.C. Latham out of Alabama,
who has
offensive tackles, obviously.
Latham, I saw somewhere where his draft stock has been going up, so he could get picked. But there's and somebody said this. They're just like, we don't actually know what these teams think of these players. This is all us from all us from the outside being like, well, I think he's really, and you're just like, yeah, I guess that's.
And there are numerous coaches in the NFL and GMs who know exactly how to spin shit.
Exactly.
Like blow smoke up certain dudes' asses. Yep. Like, what was it? I think a couple of coaches say like, oh, sometimes I just go to pro days to create interest and speculation when I have none. Or it's for a completely different player. Maybe it's for a player like Marvin Harrison when it was last year's pro day. He worked out, actually. He worked out at Ohio State with C.J. Stroud because he wanted to help his teammate. Yeah. And Stroud was like, I think it was Stroud and some of the coaches were saying like, take in what you see here right now because it's not happening again. Like literally the only reason he's coming back to school is because he has to as a student athlete. Well, and it's not even that. It's the NFL as the 3 years post high school rule. But yeah, it's, you know, some guys will be possibly looking at an underclassman and trying to get to know these players. So
you're definitely right, and it's an interesting. We've said this before. The college sports is so interesting with the NIL now. I forget which state just legalized. It was somewhere stupid like Mississippi or somewhere, but they legalized colleges being able to pay through NIL, which is a direct violation of what the NCAA set up.
Oh, it was Tennessee, I think. That's what it was. Yeah.
It literally is the state law says is in direct violation of what the NCAA.
Oh,
and then
my God.
Tennessee is literally going like, no. We're going to pay our players through our state, and then you have to punish us. And they're just like, God damn it. Like, it's like...
Hey, go listen to our Ed O'Bannon episode. We talk basically that entire court case is why we have what we have now. I'm not lying.
It's so beneficial for the players, but I've seen that some guys were saying the mid players will start coming back for more.
Keep going because
they'll start coming back for their third, fourth year or whatever if they redshirt. You know what I mean? But that's the big thing that they're saying is like the NFL should be actually really happy because this is really turning into the farm system that they've always wanted,
and it's helping them. And the players are actually being compensated.
Yes,
because it was like almost a record low in the last 20 years of underclassmen declaring. Literally, the only underclassmen you see declaring now are guys that either need money for their family, but they're finally starting to get paid, or if you're going in the top 10, which makes it idiotic.
Yeah,
like I mean, you don't go back if you're gonna, go top 10.
That money is so much more, but now, and this is literally the second round guys who don't need to make that jump. They're just like, no, I'm going to make $60,000 or whatever.
If I'm a day 3 pick, it's like, oh, I just like got a job in accounts receivable.
Yes.
Like
seriously,
like I'll just play football instead, but make that money and then maybe improve my draft stock.
Yep.
Like I bet you Michael Penix probably made an extra $4 or $5 million between NIL and just coming back a year. Because he could have come out last year, and he decided to go back to Washington and put another year of film on tape and another year of health on tape.
I like that. I like the NIL really...
Because it's not like the NBA. The guys are just like one and done. It's like, no, I can now I can start, making some dough.
Yeah, making some dough, finding my groove with the team. It's good. I think
the transfer portal, if I don't like it here, I can go somewhere the fuck else.
That's the only thing. The transfer portal... It's all set up really great, but I feel like some teams, it's not beneficial for them. It's more beneficial, finally, for the first time ever, for the fucking players.
Yeah. I mean, because, like, do you know how much do you think Shaq got rich playing in Orlando?
No, he got rich playing in college.
Everybody knows
One of the best lines ever.
God
You think Shaq got rich playing in Orlando? No, he got rich playing in college in that movie Blue Chips.
Oh my God. What a just so good.
I brought Blue Chips up to it was David from the screening room. And
that's a great movie, by the way.
It's so good.
And it's so ahead of its time because it was like, this is exactly what happens.
I even said it because he was talking about college players getting paid under the table. And I was like, dude, if you ever watch the movie Blue Chips from like 93, they explain like verbatim how people were getting paid.
And Al Bundy was the investigative journalist.
One of my favorite.
Oh, I love that movie.
God, Neon Bordeaux.
Fucking, that's the movie that got the Chris Webber, Anthony Hardaway trade. The ball roll. Oh, they're picking.
Oh, here we go.
No trades in the top
No
7.
trade. All right, here
gotta
we go.
Be O-line to help Levis.
It's got to be O-line.
I would think. Yep, J.C. Latham. Here.
Oh, J.C. Latham,
So, we talked about it before.
That makes sense, too.
The run on tackles has begun. With a lot of people thought Alt would go 7. There'd be some shenanigans as far as the Chargers or the Cardinals. Now it starts because at 10, Jets are probably interested.
Big J.C. Latham.
Oh, my God, dude. He's massive. Look at those hands.
That's what I mean.
Oh,
and those are other giant men.
Yes.
That's not me and you. Those are gigantic men that he's making look small.
Oh, my God.
And you're right. His hands just look...
Well, so it's actually smart. So last year in the first round, they took Peter Skoronski.
Oh,
great tackle from Northwestern. Almost in the Rashawn Slater vibe, a little bit smaller, but very technically efficient. You could either kick him to right tackle or kick him into guard and have Latham over there protecting Levis's blind side. So this is
a good pick.
This is just a sensible pick.
They've all been so sensible.
Yeah. Well, I want drama, goddammit, not sensibility.
They've all been. I forgot we're not in the soundproof area anymore. No, yell all you want.
But
they don't. It's a skate shop upstairs. They don't care. Look at him walking, Goodell.
Oh my God. So Elias, I told you it could be boring. It could be boring.
Yeah. Not boring, but No,
not boring, but
you're right. There's something about those trades happening.
Nobody losing their shit, I guess.
It makes me think of playing like Madden or some shit. You know what I mean? Where you're just like, I'm gonna make some crazy trades right now. It's just like,
no, my team is good. I'm just gonna the same 5 plays.
Yeah, I'm just gonna get the players that we needed.
So Falcons on the clock next. I mean, obviously Latham, he's just gonna blot out the sun for the Titans. It's what they probably hope. We might see our first defensive player taken here.
I was just gonna say this might be, but the Falcons need other. Well, so Rome's still on the board.
Yeah, but as far as skill positions, you've got Kyle Pitts, Drake London, Tucson's Bijan Robinson.
Yep.
Kirk Cousins doesn't really light my fire in my panties, but
could you imagine Bijan and Rome? And you know what I mean? So it is one of those things where you're like, they probably shouldn't take him, but that receiving core would be lethal.
But Kirk Cousins would still lose in the first round of the playoffs. No, but I mean, you have your choice not only of the best pass rusher, because a lot of people have been talking about the pass rusher.
Yeah.
You have your choice of any defensive player. There have been none drafted thus far. This also would be smart if you're looking to maybe trade back a scotch.
I don't think trades are allowed in this.
I don't think they're allowed. I think Goodell, said, I will shoot puppies.
If you trade.
And
you're like, what kind of puppies? The cutest.
Adorable ones. And then Michael Vick's just back there. God. Oh, no.
I checked myself on a story right now, and I'm not going to go and do it.
Why, what?
Never mind. It was a Michael Vick.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, shit.
So, yep, Falcons are on the clock.
I feel like, and this is one of those other things that we keep saying, it's just like they should take defense. That would make sense. They have their pick. But this is where it could get a little squirrely.
Yeah, a little squirrely. But
also, somebody should be trying to trade up to try and get one of these quarterbacks, but Minnesota is probably sitting there just like, we're good.
Like, we can just get him at 11.
Yeah.
We might be able to
whoever
trade
we
back
want
from 23 and pick up some of the assets we traded to the Texans.
Yep.
For that selection. As far as pass rushers, we got Dallas Turner on the board. Jared Verse, Laiatulatu from UCLA is an interesting guy. And also, if you're the Falcons, that division you're playing in is pretty crappy. I believe, what was it? Tampa was 9-8, only because and they won the last day of the season. Like, you have Carolina in there, who's dog shit. You got New Orleans, who's painfully mediocre. And
yeah, they're not in a good division. If they improve slightly, they really could win that.
Like, literally, you have skill position players in an offensive line to make Kirk Cousins not mid. Like, that's what it is. Like, literally, you just take the best player available.
Yeah, no, I'm not against that. I think you're right. So who do you think that is?
My best player available would be Brock Bowers. Granted, you have Kyle Pitts. I would assume they try and bolster their defense if they keep this pick. Brock
Bowers would actually surprise me.
God, if you had 12 personnel though with Bowers and Pitts on the field at the same time, because you could use Bowers as like an H-back, and you could use Pitts as an. I mean, they're obviously not going to do it. I don't think they will. You know, they took Pitts at 4. Then again, who would take a tight end in the top 10? The Atlanta Falcons.
Exactly. Who's going to do it back to back? All right, let's see. We got selection in. What the hell's going on up there?
Oh, the dirty birds. Here we go.
Oh, the dirt bird.
Let's see.
All right, who we got?
Comes Atlanta Falcons.
Atlanta Falcons select O.J. Simpson.
They took.
Whoa!
Oh shit!
All right, here we go. Here we go.
Is
finally
interesting.
Dude, he got the phone call. He's not even reacting. He's like,
my favorite quarterback in this draft, the one I would put as QB1. That's my own opinion.
I know. I love it.
But you don't know how. I mean, Kirk Cousins.
That surprised me so much.
Mid to late 30s,
dude. And having him sit with Cousins,
it's interesting that he would sit, though, because he's like 26, 25 years old.
Yeah, he is older.
Granted, he will start, but you just shelled out so much money to get Kirk Cousins.
I think I just saw on the ticker that Kirk just signed a 4-year, $180 million deal.
That's my point. That's interest.
That's the weirdest pick I've seen.
So if they took McCarthy, it would make sense. He's 21.
We didn't even bring up that they were going to take a quarterback.
No, I just didn't think they would do it this year.
No,
I mean, they do have a new offensive coordinator,
but they think
they have a new head coach, obviously. But
think Michael Penix is that good of a player.
I think he's that guy, in my own opinion. I didn't see him going here. I did not.
No.
At all. I can't believe. I think a lot of that McCarthy stuff was smoke. I thought.
Yeah?
I mean, I had him. I mean, I thought he was way better than J.J. McCarthy.
Okay. So now, what are the Vikings doing?
I mean, when they played each other, McCarthy won, but that's more related to his team.
Yeah.
This is crazy
because now it makes it. Now the trades start to make sense because now people are going to panic and say, "Oh shit, the last guy on." Outside of Bo Nix, who isn't that great of a quarterback, it's J.J. McCarthy. So it's
so we're at the Bears at 9. They're not taking a quarterback,
but God, that would be such a good trade back for them.
Well, they need a pass rusher to pair with Montez Sweat, who they just traded for and signed long term. They need a receiver. This could be an Adunze pick. So the first
Adunze
9
would be.
I think they have to pull the trigger on Adunze. I know they just traded for Keenan Allen. They do have DJ Moore. But if you put Adunze in that offense, they could go O-line, maybe pick up another guy. But you get a pass. You have your choice of defensive players. It doesn't fucking matter.
Yep.
That is a shocker. I did not.
That is a shocker.
I
love it.
I got robbed by a sweet old lady on a motorized cart.
Didn't even see
it coming. This is the lady who robbed Lloyd Christmas of picks.
I sold some stuff.
Billy and Forsey. Do you know how many times people in my high school would give me shit for that after I wrestled that blind guy? The amount of times I heard "Pretty Bird."
Pretty Bird.
Oh,
that's great. Some baseball cards, Petey.
You sold my. Petey didn't even have a head. Harry, I took care of it.
Harry, I took care of it.
This is the first one. I didn't think the Falcons would be the first wild card.
No, not even. No.
This is jumping out of the back of a you-know-what van.
Yeah.
Like,
seriously.
looking to fill people up all sorts of good.
Charlie, we don't need a wild card.
God damn it.
Cut the brakes. No, he didn't. I love that at the end. There's like, no, he didn't.
So good. So good. But no, this pick is just, it's not confusing to me because I thought he was a top 10 pick. He was the best quarterback in the draft.
Yes.
But
it's confusing that he went to the Falcons.
Just because it's not like they signed Cousins to a 1 or 2 year deal either. And I know you can play Tetris because of the salary cap, but he's not young. You know what I mean? He's not a young guy coming out. If they had taken Drake May if he fell, or McCarthy, that would, at least the math would have worked.
I agree.
But
so what, is he going to be 30 when Cousins is ready to pass it? You know what I mean? That's rough.
It's weird.
It's weird.
But anyway,
but maybe they
Falcons.
thought he was that, generational quarterback that they could not pass on. Oh, here we go. This looks like a trade. He's coming up early.
Not even the Bears of trade. We have 0 trades to the top 9 picks.
First of all, we'll trade with the Panthers. No, sorry, I'm just reading shit.
Last year,
they select it.
Chicago Bears.
And that's I feel like it's one of those guys that you're just like, if he's there at 9, we can't pass on him.
I mean, and Keenan Allen is no spring chicken. He can still play, but
But this is the future. You're building the future.
You go 11 personnel with Kmet, a back, and the 3 wide receivers, a Moore, a Dunze, and Allen. I mean, that's just. If Caleb Williams fails, I know it's still the Bears, but if he fails, it's not that they didn't try.
Yeah, they're definitely set up for victory or whatever.
You're giving it so a lot of time, like we did in our Tim Couch episode. A lot of times, some of these guys just aren't given a chance. They're at least giving Caleb Williams a chance.
You're very right on that. Where some guys are just like straight up put in first year with the worst.
Like they didn't give Justin Fields a chance. Maybe they learned their lesson.
Maybe they learned
and so many quarterbacks in between.
Yep. Yeah, you're not wrong. This you could see the Bears in 3 years be, one of the best teams.
So I don't think the Jets are going deep. I know that they lost.
Dude, defense might just not get
rushers
put off this board.
I don't even care that the Steelers are paying out the ass for Watt and Highsmith. If the top pass rusher isn't off the board, you take him.
Oh,
like at 20, you just do it.
Oh, there's no doubt on that.
But so the Jets, they did lose their top pass rusher in the offseason, but I would think they did sign Tyron Smith and Morgan. They traded for Morgan Moses from Baltimore, so they kind of got their tackle situation a little bit better. But both of those guys are in their mid to late 30s. Tackle could be on the mix, like maybe a Fashanu.
And there's still, I was going to say, there's still a bunch of good tackles on the board.
And they do need receiver help, but they don't have a second-round pick, and they might trade back. But one guy to keep an eye on here is Bowers because of just his versatility. But then again, they're just going to do what Aaron Rodgers tells them to.
Yeah.
Right? He's pretty much has them by the short and curlies, right?
Yeah. Well, I think Bowers is just too high for him to go. That doesn't mean he won't go at that, but it's...
I'm thoroughly intrigued because, and
then we get the Vikings for J.J. McCarthy.
And to Minnesota's credit, they didn't do anything stupid if that's their guy.
Dude, way to hold fast. And, dude, I'll be honest, if Minnesota at 11 passes on McCarthy,
I am going to piss my I don't want it to happen, especially if he's at the draft, because you never want to see that type of shot foot in person.
It's the most brutal camera angle. They're just standing there trying to be like, "No, that's cool."
Yeah,
the NFL told me to come. They said I was going to be a top 5. It's cool.
It's like watching Aaron Rodgers and wait all that time. Not that he's Aaron Rodgers, but still Geno Smith waited the whole first round.
Yep.
Will Levis did last year. You remember that? Mm-hmm. Shit. Man, we might not see a defensive player take. If the Vikings take McCarthy, then it's in play for Denver. But my God, I know Jacksonville would be intrigued for a pass rusher unless the tackle they want is there, the lineman they want. This is very interesting, not from a trades perspective, but just how offense and defense is being divvied out.
Yep. because it really is offense. We knew it was going to be offense heavy, but like this is like a runaway with offense.
Oh man, this is interesting, huh?
Make sure we're still rocking. Cool.
Sweet. Oh well, it looks like we have our first trade of the day.
Oh, here we go.
The Vikings moved up to 10.
Yeah, that makes sense.
They're not obviously giving up a second-round pick, which the Jets need, but it's smart of the Jets to just be like, well, hey, Minnesota, we're open for business, potentially.
Yeah, we don't need it.
So, and you only go back one because you obviously know who's Minnesota's going to take.
Yep.
But I'm kind of interested because everyone thought, oh, they traded to 23 so they could trade both picks. They still have that 23rd pick later in the round, so it'll be interesting to see what they do with that.
Yes, because that could be a good tackle coming late. That could be that one's interesting because a lot of people said that they traded for it to trade for it later, and something I heard, they were just like, good franchises don't trade picks to trade them later. They traded for that 23rd to have it because this draft class is so good.
Or, I mean, you're 100% right, but what's intriguing is you could deal that at a certain point to where you would recoup whatever you traded away to Houston and more.
And more.
And when I say and more, I mean more in this draft.
Yes.
Because who the hell knows who falls? As we've seen, the 10th pick, the first 10 picks, I would piss my pants if they took a defensive end.
I just don't think they would move up to take anybody other than McCarthy.
No. But still, I think it's very interesting.
It's interesting. I love it. It's
interesting. It's just like,
I never would have said Minnesota moving from 11 to 10 would have been the first trade.
No, I would have thought Minnesota going from like 11 to 3,
6,
4, 5, 6. Yeah. Oh my God.
7. Yeah. There's so many. Yeah. It's interesting.
Watch picks 11 through 20 be the weirdest ones. Just like trades galore, like, dudes getting taken who shouldn't be taken, or who just fall for no reason, or someone finds out the night before they've stabbed 5 hookers. Who knows?
Man. If it was 4, we could have got away with it.
God. Oh, but we've seen run on tackle start, run on receiver start.
That's right.
Which we both talked about before. They were kind of two of the deeper positions in this class. Run a quarterbacks. You already got 4.
We're about to have 5.
And we're about to have 5.
If Denver picks Bo and makes it 6, which I don't think they're going to do, the 6 in the first 15.
Yeah.
Because they're 14th or whatever.
I'm guessing what Denver tries to do is they put their pick up for sale. Much like the Jets, they don't have a second-round pick because of the Sean Payton trade. 12 for Bo Nix is entirely too rich. He should be going at the end of the second round, third round.
I agree.
Maybe you try and pick up some value by trading back with a team in the 20s who
late 20s or something.
Like a Buffalo who needs a receiver, or a team with the specific need who wants to get ahead. Like maybe a Jacksonville just says, look, we'll give you a third-round pick so we can get the pass rusher of our choice or the tackle of our choice, something like that.
Yeah. That's not out of the realm. But I feel like Denver might fear that, being as McCarthy's about to get taken. That's 5 QBs. So
I don't think there's ever been a draft where 5 have gone in the top 10.
In the top 10, no.
I remember 99, there were 5 taken in the first round. But I think
not top 10 though.
No, but I think Culpepper was like 12 and McNown was like 15.
Yeah.
So
that's wild.
No, I know, this is great. This is interesting. If you had told me like it's not going to be there's going to be only one trade in the top 10 and it'll still be
interesting.
Exciting.
Yeah.
Like I don't know.
Well, it's interesting with what didn't happen. You know what I mean? Where you're like, oh, that's a good pick, and then All right, let's see what Minnesota's got. They're still waiting a second.
They traded. Jets get 11, 129, and 157. So it looks like they got a 4th-round pick and a 5th-round pick, and
for a 6th,
and sent a 6th or 7th and the 10th pick to the.
It just seems like the Titans made off on that one. Or whatever.
The Vikings, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, just to get your guy, like, for the peace of mind.
That's what I mean, because those picks, they're not bad, but you're not going to be picking up,
I mean, impact guys can be taken later, but you would do that every day as a GM.
Exactly.
That's just like, this is more than fair.
Yeah.
And those last two, which they switched, which look like 5th or 6th round picks, it looks like they flip-flop. That's kind of the thing the teams are doing now to, like, jockey with positions.
Yep.
So, please be not J.J. McCarthy. I know that sounds so mean, but please.
I don't know why they would trade up and not pick him.
Oh, God, if you're the freaking Raiders, though, you would have thought this
is
like your worst case scenario.
I was just going to say, this is
wanted a quarterback.
Literally worst case scenario for Raiders. Yeah, God, Colts, too. I feel like the Colts really wanted a quarterback, a viable one that could have dropped. You know?
Our buddy Dave from our Red Sox episode's calling me. Gonna have to get back to him.
Old Mets fan Dave.
We've had 2 Daves do baseball episodes with us.
Because he literally said it was from the Red Sox. That's why I was like, yeah, nice.
Oh, shoot. He's probably like, did you see Michael Penix go? Jesus Christ. What the hell? Go Pac-12. But no, I mean, this is pretty easy. I don't know who they got going here.
Yeah, they're doing their NFL thing.
Their NFL charity thing.
Yep.
Which is nice.
God, I hate charity.
God, I hate that Bob Barker.
I don't know what it is. Ever since I got sober, I just hate fresh air. There it is.
Yep, JJ.
But we knew that was coming. That's not the trade up made that so obvious. Look at all those whites. Jesus Christ.
I mean, he's going to Minnesota, so I mean, if he's going somewhere like the fucking movie Fargo, JJ McCarthy.
Oh yeah,
he's a hell of a quarterback. Oh my God. Oh,
it's a lot of white blondes in there.
I believe diversity is an old wooden ship used during the Civil War era.
I don't think we're in a lack of old wooden ships, Ron. Okay. I'm going to go take a piss.
She is a smelly pirate hooker. I'll hold it down for us.
Going to get some more drinks going.
Get some more drinks. I'll get one out right now for myself. You got enough room? Dope. All right. So right now, number 11 is on the clock with the Jets. Sensible trade and move by the Jets. As far as like, look, we're not taking a quarterback. Obviously, the team who's in front of us is going to take one. We're run by Aaron Rodgers at this juncture. Draft board's your oyster as far as Brock Bowers. If you're looking for another young offensive tackle to eventually replace Morgan Moses or Tyron Smith maybe next year, you have guys like an Olu Fashanu right now. Taliese Fuaga, who I personally like. I would love to take that dude. He is just a road grader. And then Troy Fautanu, who was a protector for Michael Penix there over at UW. So, but back to the Vikings. Obviously, I know the Jets are on the clock right now, but yeah, you needed a quarterback. You made all those trades for it. Kirk Cousins left town, which, in my opinion, good on you, Minnesota. Like, you tried, obviously, but yeah, Kirk Cousins is not leading anybody to the promised land as far as deep postseason runs. Got former Aztec Kevin O'Connell, former quarterback there, leading your team as the head coach. And we had talked about before, Chris and I, where Minnesota, you have Jordan Addison, you have Justin Jefferson, who might be a top 1 to 2 to 3 receiver in the league. Christian Darrisaw anchoring that offensive line. I mean, this is a good situation. Plus, Sam Darnold, if you need him to, the guy started games. He has worse. Remember our Vinny Testaverde episode? Where when he was with the Buccaneers about just how horrible it was?
Yeah.
Like telling people. That's what Sam Darnold's doing with the Jets. So this is, I'm not a huge J.J. McCarthy fan, Slancha, but
I agree.
I will say he walked into a perfect situation as far as
the
Minnesota.
Vikings had a great season with no quarterback. Now they're going to have at least somebody that they can put their trust. You know what I mean? Like at least somebody that can be like, you're going to be our future. That kind of shit.
Christ, dude, that division. I mean, Love came on last year for Green Bay. The Bears, we've talked about the Bears, who they've acquired skill position wise. And, oh, yeah, the Detroit Lions are somehow awesome.
God, they're actually good.
Like, I'm sorry. Did I wake up in 1991? Is this America?
I'm sorry. I thought this was America.
God damn it. But anyway, good on you, Vikings, for getting yourself
not bad.
a future
I'm
signal
interested
caller.
to see who the Jets pick.
So I was talking about it when you were gone.
I know. With the trade down, it's an interesting pick here because literally they could get almost any. I would go tackle receiver. Defensive player, but I just don't think they need that.
They do need pass rush help.
Okay.
I will say that. I think pass rush is in play. I do think it would be a young tackle, maybe a developmental tackle.
Yeah.
But 3 receivers are off the board. Maybe you go 4 and just
Maybe
keep this train rolling.
All right, let's see what they got. Selections in. Goodell looks like a dickhead.
So yeah, Brian Thomas Jr., Neighbors' teammate. He could come into
Brian
play.
Thomas is still in it. We got
Fashanu tackle. Smart move.
I can't pronounce. Fashanu is
Fashanu.
a great pick here. Penn State.
I mean, people had talked about him after he could have come out, I think, last year.
Yeah.
People said he might have gone first round last year. So I mean, like this is actually fantastic for the Jets because you are rolling the dice. Tyron Smith, I think, is in his 14th year. Mm-hmm. And then Moses has been in the league for a while, so like this is going to be your left tackle of the future, obviously. And who knows, one of them gets hurt this year or it just doesn't pan out. Like it's a lot better than that Mekhi Becton craptacular pick in that stacked 2020 draft. So like unlike Mekhi Becton, this dude is not a project. You can put him in and do well.
Yeah.
So that is a very not Jets move.
I was
going to throw that out there.
Just going to say that is a very reasonable and...
I feel like, that is a very stupid thing to do.
You haven't thought of the smell. You bitch.
You bitch. So 10 picks, 11 picks, no defensive players taken, which speaks a lot about, just... not
defense.
A hell of a lot of guys making big impacts, like solid players. I'm surprised. I mean, the corner class isn't electric, but now that all of these guys have been taken, Denver's on the clock. You could use someone to pair with Patrick Surtain.
Yes.
You've lost Justin Simmons. I think the next 2 picks could be cornerbacks. I'm thinking maybe Quinyon Mitchell out of Toledo, Terrion Arnold, Alabama.
You think Denver could go for a corner? I don't know who Denver's going to want.
They might go edge rusher. I mean, you lost Bradley Chubb last year. I mean, the board is your oyster as far as defense.
Dude, you're not wrong. If you were waiting for a defensive player, you're just like, oh, we could pick anybody.
I maintain it. If you get to 20 and everyone's there, you have to. You just have to.
You have to.
But as far as the Broncos, what if they took Bo Nix here? Please, Jesus.
People, yes.
Do it. Oh, Denver, don't let me down.
People have been saying this for a while. I mean, who do they have? Zach Wilson?
Zach Wilson and, the corpse of Jarrett Stidham.
It's brutal.
Make it happen.
It's brutal out there in Denver.
Do you know how often as a child I would want the Broncos to be just god-awful while I lived there?
Yeah.
It's when dreams become reality. God. Oh, the Zach Wilson experiment. Let's see how that goes. Sure, he might fuck 40-year-olds, but he'll fuck your team on the field.
Sure will.
Oh, God. Broncos, 12, and then we got the Raiders afterwards, which I kind of wanted Penix to go there.
I was just going to say
the Raiders, but like that fucking gamer in him, where he'd be a Raider, just like badass.
I get you. Criminal.
No, not Penix.
A Raider,
a fucking lefty like Kenny Stabler,
pirate,
and like what's his name, LaMonica, just bombing it down the field. Oh God,
I do feel like Knicks might go here to Denver or Las Vegas, but I can't see him necessarily going to Vegas.
No, it would be Denver, or you might see a team trade up from the second round back into the bottom on the first.
Yeah, to pick him up.
Like one team that does that a lot, who messes in the back like that, Baltimore. Like where they wouldn't take him, but they would trade back with another team.
Yeah,
they're a very well run organization, which you just have to tip your cap to. But,
when you see those teams get those value picks, you're just like, oh yeah, that was good.
But then we got Broncos, Raiders. The Saints they need O-line help so bad at 14.
Yeah.
Colts could stand pat and maybe get Bowers or another. God, these receivers are just going like hotcakes. You know what? If you play on offense, you're going to get picked.
Receivers, tackles, and quarterbacks. That's what we're seeing.
Really, the first team I think who could go like say Broncos and Las Vegas pass. Maybe the Jaguars at 17. Seahawks maybe at 16. They just McDonald's their new coach. He was defensive coordinator with Michigan, but then also he coached for a while with the Ravens and the other Harbaugh. The Rams at 19. I mean, God, this is going to be wild.
I agree. All right, who we got?
Denver.
Nobody so far.
Nope. Who's doing this? Zierlein, Bucky Brooks, and some other guy. Some dude.
Yeah, Denver, man. It's my guess right now would be Bo Nix.
I hope it is. Like they're just that desperate. Like God, everything blew up in our face.
Yep.
Like oh Jesus.
And I wonder if the Jets called Minnesota and they're like, "Hey, Denver's poking around. So if you want to make this, if you want to hop up, we'll hop you up."
He's sniffing around, Mac. He's sniffing around. No, and in those situations, usually the team who's like immediately behind them will be like, "All right, what the fuck do you want within reason?" Like, let's like obviously, I don't think Denver was. They might have been, but I don't know. Oh my God! I just saw. We're gonna wait for it. I'm gonna sit this far back because I can't read. But oh, Jeffrey, yes.
Do we got a trade?
We don't have a trade. We have a. I'll just wait till Goodell gets there and let you in on the statistic.
I like that.
But
getting text too early.
Well, fucking Bleacher Report. I like to have it because the Padres sometimes play day games, so when I'm at work, I can follow it. But like for the draft, that's why I don't like when I used to do the sports writing, idiots would tip picks. So I'd always stay off the internet until after I saw it on TV. But here it comes. Denver kept the pick.
Here we go. Denver's taking.
Roger Goodell looks like every evil businessman. Like he would be a perfect like alabaster Hans Gruber. You know?
Yep.
Her. Oh man, Denver kept the pick.
And Dom knows already. He's excited.
I am very excited.
Who we got? Selection. Bo Nix. That so stupid.
So stupid for the value. But when you think about it, the NFL record in the first round for quarterbacks taken is 6. That's 1983.
Yeah. That's wild.
And that lasted from 1 to 27 with Marino. This is 6 in the first 12.
Yeah.
I mean, this is in my opinion,
half of the picks have been quarterbacks.
This is a selection much like when they traded for Zach Wilson. This is Sean Payton thinking it's 2009. The media's knob slobbing him, and he's the smartest man in the NFL, when in actuality, you did run a potential future Hall of Fame quarterback out of town. Sure, he might be a douche canoe, but you created salary cap hell for the next 3 seasons. And you're going to outsmart people with Bo Nix? Good luck. I mean, that's all I'm saying good luck.
You're not wrong.
I mean, wow. Just fucking wow. Gee, what the hell? Who's the 7th quarterback off the board?
Yeah,
we might see him at the end of the first round.
I don't even know. You might see him pick 28th.
I did not think he would go round. I thought he would go round 1 by some sort of Denver trade back in the late 20s.
Yes.
I did not.
Yes, I had the same thing of him going 22 and above and getting trade. You know what I mean? But
I thought the earliest Penix would go was 13 to the Raiders because of the medicals, not because of his
actual
skill
ability.
set.
Yeah.
This is a dude who was getting the snot beat out of him at Auburn, and then he goes to Oregon in a conference where they don't play defense. And a very friendly offensive system. I think he was in college for like 6 years.
And then he went to Utah where they don't allow music.
Jasmine. Now they have a hockey team, Chris.
Oh, that's the worst.
Gosh. Oh, that's going to be interesting.
The Utah plumbing.
That was the first one. I was going to
get it out.
I was going to call them the Salt Lake Smiths.
Oh, it's so good. I've seen so many of those.
Oh God. I mean, you got to take it in stride, though. I mean.
All right, that's cool. Bo Nix. It's funny for me, but it's still cool.
It's enjoyable. So the Raiders at 13. I think you got to think defense here. Antonio Pierce is the new head coach. You have your pick of anyone you want.
There's no more quarterbacks.
It would be. I mean, if you get like a Dallas Turner or a Latu or what's his nuts, Jared Verse opposite Max Crosby, and they went defensive end last year with Wilson from Texas Tech. I mean, you got yourself a little stew going, baby.
Yeah, you're not wrong, man. You dropped that bone in there.
But
I think Turner's probably the best, but
any corner. I mean, I think it could be Terry and Arnold.
Yeah.
I think they like the Quinn Mitchell guy though out of Toledo.
Oh yeah, all right.
I think he's a hell of a player. I mean, that's crazy. 13 is the first defensive player.
If he goes.
It's crazy how, like, there's no necessarily drama.
No.
But it's just like.
It's been so much.
One trade.
I've even said it. I was like, I would pick him. And one trade for one spot. It's not even like a huge, it was like, oh shit. It was one flip.
Oh, wow.
And they were like, Denver's coming in.
Mm-hmm. Watch him take, like, fucking Bowers, though.
That would
like a receiver. Oh, please, something crazy.
Selection is in.
Oh,
Bowers! They fucking did it. It's so good.
So good when it happens.
I love it.
So they take Brock Bowers at tight end, which I think I think Foster Moreau's gone, but I mean it makes sense. You got to help whomever's playing quarterback for you.
That's
you know who their quarterback is? Gardner Minshew.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my gosh. This is wild, dude. I mean, Brock Bowers, you can line him up at any of the skill positions, and he probably could play running back. He's just an absolute freak and matchup nightmare. Like, one of the reasons Georgia's been so good over the last 3 seasons, Brock Bowers.
Yeah, that's
great hands.
Interesting pick. Offense.
Great route run.
Offense.
But you can line him. He's like a Gronk. You can line him. He's not as good of a blocker as him, and he's not as big as him. But you can line him up in line. You can line him up out wide in the slot. I mean, interesting move, Raiders.
Nice.
Pick 14, the Saints. This has got to be a tackle. I mean,
they're not. I've heard this that's like 100% that they're going for a tackle almost.
I would think it's at this point.
And nobody's dropped.
No. To me, it's either going to be Fuaga or Fautanu. It's got to be one of those two guys for New Orleans, unless they're trade back. You know what I mean? Like
you're right. This is a trade back situation.
They could
one spot.
Yeah, right. One spot. There's rules against it.
Interesting. No. God, when's a defensive player going to go?
I had Bowers.
Jacksonville.
I mean, I had Bowers pegged more to Indianapolis.
Oh, yeah.
Possibly
that makes sense.
Like Kansas City trade up. But,
man.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is enjoyable. I'm not going to lie to you.
Yeah, a couple of surprises, which I liked. And a complete lack of trades.
Yeah. It's... I think the NFL, I think they're just going to stop playing defense. It's just going to be like 7-on-7 with like dummies. Like literal tackling
dummies.
Oh, no.
Yeah, you can't go in 5 feet to the dummy or you're getting tackled. We got another selection in already. Is Saints just going?
Oh, no. We got a commercial
We got a little break. It's good, though. It's been good so far. Bo Nix to the Denver I still think is hilarious.
Oh, Dad, I miss you so much.
I bet he was.
God,
I bet he would talk so much shit on it.
Oh, man, that's just Denver. Why? There is not a trade back scenario that would have resulted in any team taking him.
I know.
You could have gotten undervalued, but you would have obviously been traded something, right?
Yeah.
There's no way. I don't know.
I guess Las Vegas could have taken him, but even that, I don't think. Like, yeah, interesting.
No, I think Vegas. I think what they probably wanted to do, because Pierce was Daniel's coach at Arizona State, where he would have essentially traded the whole farm to go and get him.
Oh yeah.
But I think when he realized, like, oh, Washington is just not
gonna
going anywhere.
Yeah.
We got to figure out something.
That makes sense.
Maybe for Penix, but fucking Atlanta, dude. That is the ultimate wild card. I had no idea.
And just like we were saying with like how it makes sense that players go to those teams, that doesn't make sense. It just Kirk Cousins has a 4-year, $180 million contract, and he's 26.
And I know they can get rid of it, and they'll do some fancy cap Tetris, but it just
you got to be bummed if you're Kirk Cousins.
I'm not even bummed if I'm him because it's all like guaranteed. That man is.
No, I just mean for like going forward, you're just like, oh, we couldn't get one of those receivers, or you know, you didn't want to go get Rome.
Defense.
Yeah, any of that where you're just like, well, that sucks.
Let's see if he throws an Aaron Rodgers hissy fit like when they took Jordan Love, which was hilarious considering that's what Brett Favre did when they took Aaron Rodgers.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God. Circle of life.
Oh, these boys.
Oh boy. We got to our baseball commercial. By the way, kudos to Tubi for doing this as far as they're having it up for free. As long as you have the app.
I agree.
And you just sit through essential
some bullshit commercial.
Which is fine, which you do on network television regardless. So tip of the cap, Tubi, for your fine programming and such.
I agree.
As we're doing it on a phone because my Chromebook took a shit, and I'm having a great time.
Me too.
I'm enjoying these Topo
This has been
Chicos.
good. Yeah, those are actually smooth as fuck. They're a problem too because they make me think I'm just drinking like regular fucking bubbly.
Dude, you know what ones are fucking will destroy? Like they've destroyed me. Those Spindrifts.
So I've seen.
They have
those.
alcoholic ones.
I've seen those.
Holy shit! They taste like the Spindrifts without alcohol, which is delicious, which is not good. Not that anything goes wrong. It's just like within 2 hours, feels like an Arby's night.
Oh man, I love an Arby's night.
We went to Arby's. It's Twix. They're all Twix. It was a setup.
I think I got a Mars bar. They're all Twix. And you, how many did you have today? I don't know.
Of all the late season ones, that's one of my favorites of Seinfeld. Like that, because everyone's got something going on.
We don't like being called grease monkeys. Like we
don't even know what that is.
We don't even know what that is. Yeah.
Saints on the clock.
Saints on the clock. I would guess a tackle. Whatever tackle is their number one, because that's the other thing is a lot of the tackles are very equally, graded.
I'm thinking it's got to be Fuaga or Faltanu. Yeah. I mean, maybe you got some guys later down the board as far as what's his name? Maybe Graham Barton. As far because he can play a bunch of different positions.
Yeah.
What's his nuts? Amarius Mims intrigues me from a tools perspective. He has tools, but he hasn't played much.
He's not going to go. I don't think he's going to go top 20.
I think he might.
What are all these things? They're my tools.
Whips, chain. But New Orleans. Hey, Osimo, who's going to win the Super Bowl? The New Orleans Saints. Adam Sandler and a golden retriever. Oh, God. Did I tell you that might be our couple's Halloween costume?
Yeah. That's fucking
I'm going to go as
hilarious.
Butters, and my lady's going to go as Osimo.
Yeah, that's fucking hilarious.
I'm just going to tell all of the people there, he's from Japan.
The drunker you get, you just keep looking at your girlfriend, and you're just like, now, Osimo, were you made for pleasure?
Were you a pleasure model?
Were you a pleasure model?
Weak.
Lame. Cartman trying to trick Butters is one of the stupidest. Like, he just always messes it up. So I took a picture with his penis in my mouth. Wait, what?
Because he needs to get the Britney Spears one back, too.
Wait, what?
It's totally not
Give
gay.
it to me, Kyle.
Oh no! And then he does at the end with the class the slideshow.
Yes, the slideshow. I took this, and it shows a lot of compensation of light and dark, just like all the things.
This is a symbol for 9/11.
Yep.
What?
This is Butters with his penis in my mouth.
I mean, this is offense too. I think the Colts are. The Colts do need defensive back help. I'll say that. And I know that Marshawn Lattimore, as far as the Saints, maybe they go D back here, but you got to think the run on tackles is they got to jump in.
Yeah, I agree.
They got to jump in.
I agree.
Or they'll take another quarterback.
Or
Why
take
the
another
fuck not?
quarterback.
We got here we go.
All right, here we go. Saints.
Fuaga.
That makes sense.
This guy's one of my favorites from Oregon State. Just the road grader, badass.
One of the things they list, it's powerful, nasty, balance.
I mean,
he's nasty, but he has balance.
He has balance. I mean, balance is the name of the game, Chris.
Dude, it's key.
Just watch him though light people up. He's God, he's a junkyard dog.
He's
huge. Probably fits in at right tackle. Not necessarily the type of feat to maybe be a blindside protector, but you put him in at right tackle or one of the guard spots and he will light you the fuck up.
Yeah.
But the way when he's able to anchor, good luck.
And he's played right tackle. So he's not one of the guys that play left tackle that they're like, we're switching you when you get in. He's played right tackle and yeah.
Just the sense. This is the goddamn sensibility draft, Chris.
It's so sensible. It's so fucking funny.
There's no necessarily drama. It's just like, who do you think they'll take? I don't know. What are their holes? How is the board shaking out?
Oh, we got another pick. Oh no, sorry.
Just everyone telling Taliesin Fuaga.
That's actually pretty funny. It's literally no team is just like, we need a kicker.
Yeah, right. Colts on the board now. You gotta believe it's
you gotta
defense.
think defense is gonna drop sometime.
Unless it's receiver, it has to be cornerback.
Yeah.
I'm thinking maybe pass rusher. I don't know if some of these guys had medicals come out, some of these pass rushers, but holy cow, this is insane. That looks like a fun party.
I was just going to say that looks like Dom's college years.
That looks like a lot of delicious plate lunch that I want to be a part of, Chris.
A lot of pork.
God. Yeah, a lot of Kahlua pork, a lot of mac salad, a lot of white rice. I'm digging it. Good for you, buddy.
I love it.
Going to the Big Easy. Hell yes. So, Colts, this is interesting.
Made sense. Now, what makes sense for the Colts? That's the question.
You have carte blanche defense. Wherever you want to go, you can go. Thomas is still on the board. Obviously, the Raiders took Bowers.
Yep.
If you're going tackle, you're not. I don't think you're going to do that. Fatanu's still there. Barton's still there. All the interior offensive linemen are still there. I mean, geez Louise. This is... I did not... I knew defense would get taken late, but I thought still one guy would go in the top 10.
Yeah, I agree with you. I knew it was going to be 90% offense. I didn't think it was going to be 100% offense. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's the thing that's kind of blowing my mind. I thought one team would be like, yeah, we want any defensive player that's on the board, we want him because we have that selection. And I don't know if the Colts are going to go defense. They could go for another fucking tackle. There's still great tackles on the board.
There's still great wide receivers on the board.
Yep.
There's still great defensive backs on the board.
Well, we'll see if defense gets picked in the first round.
What if all the owners colluded say, hey, wouldn't it be funny if none of us took a fucking defensive player?
It would be fucking hilarious with that level of collusion.
Yeah.
Where they're just like, that doesn't even make sense for us in football.
Look, all our needs are on defense. No. Just take someone on offense. Trust us.
No. Go ahead.
Do you know how hilarious this will be? Come on. Oh, gosh. Let's see. Who do they have?
Colts, huh?
Well, they got Anthony Richardson healthy again. The guy they took third overall last year.
Yep.
had some injury problems. Minshew played pretty much the entire season for Indianapolis, but he's in Las Vegas.
Yep.
Doesn't feel right saying Las Vegas.
I know. I
Oakland or even L.A.
I even stumble on it because I always think Oakland.
They moved from Oakland to L.A. and back to Oakland again. Mm-hmm. No one in L.A. seemed to care.
No one in L.A. seemed to notice. That's so good. That little front line of how teams move is one of the best. Fucking basketball on that is so good.
They moved to Tennessee where they have no oil.
Yep. Minnesota Lakers moved to LA where they don't have lakes. It's so good.
I like when teams do that. They move and don't change the name. Like they don't rebrand.
No, it's so good.
At least in Tennessee's case, they changed it to something different. But still, it's.
You think the A's are going to change their name?
They've moved like 3 times already. Just keep it going.
I've heard that. Yeah, I've heard that where they're just like, no, we want to be the Las Vegas A's. And then some other people are like, no, we're going to change the name to make it more modern or whatever,
That's stupid because that's like a historical baseball franchise from Philadelphia to Kansas City to Oakland to fucking
Sacramento.
And they played in the 90s. I think it was when Roy and I were even talking to Canseco. They played like a string of home games in Las Vegas, the A's did.
Yeah.
Like regular season games. Yeah. So it's like, dude, just keep being the A's. Mm-hmm. Like, it works.
I agree.
Wow, you're Reggie Jackson. Don't have your fucking ball.
So good.
All right, so Indy.
Come on, Colts.
Not trade. Nobody trades.
No,
Who
dude.
Fuck trades, dude. Fuck them.
This is the least amount of trades, and everybody thought. I saw somebody say, "You just goes." I think there's going to be 5 trades in the first 10, and I was like, "There's no way." But I did think there was going to be more trades.
The hot button I thought was the Chargers. I thought that someone would be, but you know what? It kind of is. It's they're valuing the quarterbacks, excluding Denver, obviously, but they're valuing them appropriately. Just like our guy's going to be there.
You're not wrong. Yeah.
Like, I don't think anyone's panicking. Like, Minnesota obviously traded up, but they traded up 1 pick. Mm-hmm. They gave up like a 4th-round pick and swapped the 6 and 7.
That's what's going to be hilarious if that's the only trade in the first round.
Oh, man. So many, like, obviously, nobody goes back and, like, makes fun of these people, but it's still
yeah,
you remember this one?
Exactly.
Oh, jeez. Come on, Colts. You need to do it. Take a quarterback. Let's see.
All right.
What's it going to?
Old Raj is coming up.
Let's see. Just looking at my board here.
Colts are taking Aaron Hernandez. That was a weird one, guys.
Man, I didn't know they knew how to just resurrect people. First defensive player.
Yep.
Latu. Much like Penix, a lot of medical red flags, and originally went to UW, oddly enough.
Well, I heard, because he has like a neck thing or some shit. I heard that Latu got passed or whatever by a ton of the NFL medical staffs, and some of them were like, we would never pass him to be a round 1 pick. You know what I mean? So it's interesting where some guys or some medical staffs are like, no, he's fine. And some other ones are like, no, he's not. So
it depends team to team. That was the whole allegedly thing with Drew Brees is Nick Saban allegedly wanted to sign him as a free agent. And the medical staff told him, no, we won't pass him.
Yeah.
The Saints ended up passing him, so that's who he signed with. But it's like you said, it's team to team.
Yeah, it's interesting.
It's like you know why, and it's probably why he fell, as we talked about in episode 250. It's probably what happened with Gronk. I bet you there were some teams who just said, our doctors cannot sign off on this.
Yeah.
So, but good for this dude. First defensive player in the draft. We get a pass rusher taken off. Run of that should start here soon.
I agree.
Turner and Verse.
Now that they broke the seal.
Yeah, they broke the seal.
And we said this before, the pass rushers, cornerbacks are going to go later in the draft, but I'm still surprised at the 6 QBs I'm surprised 50% of the picks in the first 12 picks were QBs.
I know. It's insane.
That statement is insane. All of the top receivers are off the board, even though we still have some. I'm just saying, like, all the players that you thought would be off the board are off the board. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, there's nobody sitting in the audience being like, like...
Yeah, like, really the only ones you're thinking about are the defensive players. It's nobody on offense. You're just like, these guys should have gone right now.
Yeah, no, it's all defense. And to be honest, now is when they should start falling. A lot to... Like yeah.
Seattle's on. I think Seattle might go defense.
Yeah,
they might go defense. I think anywhere on defense. I mean, obviously, I don't think there are any off-ball linebackers, but I think pass rusher, corner is in play for them. Jacksonville at 17. I think pass rusher is definitely in play for them.
That was the one that I was like, this is for sure going to be the first defenseman if it falls that far.
And then Cincinnati. That's an interesting one. They do need offensive line help. They should get offensive line help. But, you have a guy like a Dallas Turner.
Yes.
Like,
that's the thing is, like, are you picking, at this point, are you picking the position need or are you picking the best player available?
But you know what? All three also need offensive line help.
Yeah.
This is where you could see a team like a Miami or a Dallas just kind of scooch up, or like Jacksonville might need another receiver. This is where you could see a team like Buffalo kind of try and finagle their way in. But, everything makes sense, so I'm not even going to throw out any crazy theories.
Everything makes sense right now. No, there's no trades.
It's like when Dale reads the Warren Commission. It all makes sense.
Dale. Probably the greatest.
Don't you want to take your son to Roswell? That the Exterminator episode might be my favorite one, just from working exactly those jobs. Like, I'm not even joking. I'll joke with my lady sometimes and just like randomly go, "Up yours, Rodriguez."
It's so good.
Oh God! I'm trying to fire him for being an incompetent employee. God.
Oh, man. That show is so ridiculous. I got to make sure we're still rolling.
Mike Judge, you can do no wrong, sir.
All right, we're 2 hours in.
We should. So halfway through, they're a commercial for Seattle. I'm going to go take a piss real quick.
I'll keep this going. These are always brought to you. This episode is always brought to you by alcoholism.
Yes, a lot of it.
So please endorse, support, and reuse. That's the biggest thing that we're doing.
Recycling for your liver.
Oh my God, it is recycling. That's the recycling of the future. Alcoholism. I don't know if anybody knows this about Australia, but a lot of people actually make their money from recycling cans. This is about the draft, I know, but that's what's so crazy. I'm just talking out my ass. I would be surprised. I would be surprised if we see some trades later in this draft because they've been so trade light. I don't think teams are going to be moving all that much. It's almost like a foregone conclusion of like that team's going to pick this guy, and then we're going to like Jacksonville's going to pick a pass rusher, and then yeah. I wouldn't mind seeing who Kansas City goes with. I thought Bauer was going to drop a lot more than he did. Yeah, geez, man. It's an interesting draft so far. I don't see any other wide receivers going in the first round. Maybe 28. Oh, no. I take that back. Kansas City will probably pick up a wide receiver, and they'll probably pick him up 32nd or whatever. I don't even know who the next quarterback is, if I'm honest, on the board. I didn't even think the check past 6, which is kind of crazy. And then you just have you still have 4 or 5 great tackles on the board. Like, could go top in any other draft kind of tackles. So I mean, we'll see. We'll see how it kind of ends up.